Good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning, Amitabha. Good morning.
Good morning, Gautam. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Vanuja, good morning.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. Great. So let's begin. Yeah. Okay. Let's start with the prayer. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mriturma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness unto light, lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace. Good morning and welcome to another session of Spirituality Basics. Well, today I thought Guru Purnima just went by on this last Wednesday. As you know, 29 July was Guru Purnima. So I thought let's talk something about, since it's a very important topic for all spiritual seekers. So let's talk about Guru Purnima, importance of a guru, how to find the right guru, like that. So basically, Guru Purnima is celebrated on Purnima. Of course, it's a full moon day in the month of Ashad, in the Hindu month of Ashad, where millions of seekers, spiritual seekers, pay homage to their gurus. Either they have taken mantra from any of the guru of any of the traditions, and both living teachers and basically the timeless lineage, of the enlightened masters who have preserved the spiritual knowledge, through the ages. I mean, it goes on. A person may pass away, but like Sri Ramakrishna is no longer there, but the tradition remains, the order remains. So it is, you can say, it's one of the most sacred observances in the Indian spiritual tradition, and more than a festival. And it's a day which is basically dedicated to gratitude, to humility, learning, and also the transmission of wisdom, which a guru does. So basically, you can say it's a Guru's Day. It's a Guru's Day, like we have our Father's Day, our Mother's Day, and nowadays we have so many days. We have Yoga Day of late, then Photography Day. So many days are there, but this is as the Guru's Day. And as I said, Guru occupies a very important place in the life of any spiritual seeker. In fact, this is in the spiritual realm, but in every field, you need someone to guide you. You need a guru. Like if you wish to become a good musician, you need a good music teacher who will guide you. If you want to, let's say, even climb Mount Everest, you need a guide. You need a helper. A Sherpa helps you. All the athletes, they have their coaches. So nowadays you have other new age gurus, like you have something called, there's a person also, I'm forgetting his name, tech guru. You have tech gurus, who guides you into the various tech instruments. But strangely, when it comes to the most difficult journey of all, most difficult journey, that is the journey to our own consciousness, which you truly are. Many people assume that they can do it alone. They can navigate entirely alone. Not that it's not possible, it is very much possible. But Vedanta, Vedanta very gently challenges this assumption, because and they have a reason behind it. It's not without reason. And the reason is that our mind, our mind is both the seeker as well as the obstacle. If you really look at it, when you are seeking this self-realization, it happens all through the mind. But also, when the obstacles come, obstacles to your spiritual journey comes, that also comes through the mind. So, uh, so just like imagine you're trying to use a dusty mirror to see your own face. It's a mirror which is there's a layer of dust on the top of it. Now, no matter how sincerely you look, the dust, you're not able to see your image properly. It distorts the reflection. So Vedanta says the human mind is like that mirror, and the dust is of ignorance, dust is of the ego, attachment, fear, desires, various conditioning of the mind. And finally, the mistaken identity of who we are. So, what a guru does, he does not create any truth. It's already there. Your face is there. It's very much there. He simply removes the dust. So what he does, he just simply removes the layer of dust from the mirror, and then you can clearly see what you are, what you truly are. So today we'll first talk about Guru Purnima, what it is, when it is celebrated, and what you should do on that day, especially on that day. Not that you should not do that on other days, but especially on that day, how to basically celebrate Guru Purnima. And then finally, a very important topic is how to find the right Guru. Very important. And again, whenever I'm talking about Guru, I mean your spiritual Guru. I'm not talking about your music guru or your photography guru or your athletics coach. We are talking of spiritual guru. Because, these days you will find that there is a mushrooming of spiritual gurus, or you can say self-styled godmen, and you see them everywhere. And with huge followings, millions of followers. We'll come to that in the last part of our session. With millions of followers. So sometimes it becomes very difficult, to do this filtration. But our scriptures, fortunately, our scriptures, maybe they also envisaged that situation. They thought of this situation, and they very clearly mentioned their criteria, the guidelines, the qualifications that the right spiritual guru must have. It's very clearly mentioned. So we will discuss about that. And in fact, this is a poster of some of the realized spiritual gurus. It's not exhaustive. I just picked it up from the net. So let's begin. Now, first coming to the word itself, guru. What does it mean? Again, it's a Sanskrit word, and it consists of two parts, gu and ru. So gu is darkness or ignorance, and ru is the remover or dispeller, who removes this darkness. So basically, guru, therefore, is one who removes the darkness of ignorance. And not this darkness, like if the room is dark and you switch on the light and the room is well lit. Not that. It's the darkness of ignorance. In fact, the second line of the prayer that we chant at the beginning of every session, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. lead me from darkness unto light. So darkness is not the literal darkness, it is ignorance. So, and also in Vedanta, ignorance does not simply mean the lack of information. Usually, when we say a person is ignorant about this, so we refer to the ignorance about a worldly thing, a worldly topic, a worldly subject. But in Vedanta, it refers to our mistaken identification with the body, with the mind, the ego, and forgetting our true nature, which is pure consciousness. So that's the ignorance, and that is sought to be removed. So a guru is, not merely a teacher of ideas, not a, what I mean to say is not a theoretical teacher, but a guide who does some amount of hand-holding also, who helps reveal the truth of the self, about who you really are. Now, Guru Purnima is traditionally associated with Vyasa. Also, you must have all also known as Veda Vyasa, the great, sage and rishi, Veda Vyasa. And it is celebrated on his birthday, although the date is not clear when he was born. So, but it was long back, maybe around 3,500 years back, sometime not even in this yug, Dwapara yug. So that's when he was born. And Vyasa is regarded by many Indians as a partial incarnation of Vishnu. Anshavatar. Ansh is partial, avatar, Anshavatara. That's how important it is. Now, Vyasa, literally, if you see, Vyasa means compiler or arranger, and it also means separation or division. So it means both. And he's called Veda Vyasa. That's normally he is referred to as. So why Veda Vyasa? Because he divided the single Veda into 4 separate books. We know there are 4 Vedas, the Rig Veda, the Sama Veda, the Yajur Veda and Atharva Veda. So this is attributed to Veda Vyas. And he's also revered, because of primarily because of 4 things. Firstly, as I mentioned, he compiled and organized the 4 Vedas. Secondly, he authored the Mahabharata. The great epic Mahabharata, of which Bhagavad Gita is a part. Thirdly, he preserved the 18 Puranas through tradition. We do not have just the Vedas, we have the Puranas, which are also stories, the teachings in story form mainly. So he preserved we have majorly 18 Puranas through tradition. So that he preserved. And finally, he composed the Bible of Vedanta, which is the Brahma Sutras. He composed the Brahma Sutras. It is one of the most fundamental texts of Vedanta. So for these reasons, he is placed on a very high pedestal by the Hindus, and that's why it is celebrated on his birthday. And it's also sometimes referred to as Vyasa Purnima, Guru Purnima, and also Vyasa Purnima. Now, each guru is considered part of, the unbroken Guru Parampara. We have a Guru Parampara, the tradition, you can call it a lineage of wisdom that flows from teacher to disciple. Across generations. I mean, that's why otherwise how will it live? Otherwise it will die an early death. And it is Guru Purnima is celebrated in different traditions, not only in Hinduism. In Hinduism, as I just mentioned, that it honors Vedavyasa and other spiritual gurus of different lineages, but all follow, everything emanates from the Vedas. We have different spiritual gurus, but then different traditions, but they all emanate or they all end at the Vedas. So it honors Vedavyasa and the entire Guru Parampara, and disciples, on that day express reverence through prayers, study, meditation, service, etc. In Buddhism, also Guru Purnima is associated with the Gautam Buddha giving his first sermon at Sarnath. Sarnath, near Varanasi. Sarnath is there. So he gave his first sermon at Sarnath after attaining enlightenment, and that this set the wheel of dhamma as they call it, in motion. In Jainism, the day commemorates when Mahavira accepted his first disciple. His first disciple, as you might be knowing, was Gautama Swami. So that's in Jainism, and it marks the beginning of the Jain teacher disciple tradition. Now, uh, what to do? What exactly to do how to celebrate the Guru Purnima? Because it is, although we call it celebration, but actually it is less about any ceremony, and it is more focus is on inner transformation. Because as I mentioned, that it happens in the mind, so it is about inner transformation. That's exactly the Guru does. So some of the ways, I mean, these are just representative, some of the ways that you can do. You offer gratitude to your spiritual teachers or mentors, Guru. Spend extra time in meditation. You can do some reading from the holy texts like the Upanishads or the Bhagavad Gita. You can perform some selfless service, seva, and also you can, on one day, you can reflect on your progress that you made over the last year. In fact, it is said that on Father's Day, because in other Western countries, they live separately, and they are very busy in their own life. So it's say at least on Father's Day and Mother's Day, that's one day, that they remember, yes, I have a father and I have a mother. It's more Western concept. Uh, and although it is very widely celebrated now in India also, but in general, we don't live like that. We remember our father all the time, our parents. In fact, it said your parents are your first teacher. The first guru is your parents. So that's what it is. So these are the various ways, you can celebrate the Guru Purnima, the celebrations which happens in Ramakrishna Mission, of which I am a follower. So, and it is said that the only Guru is Sri Ramakrishna. All the other Swamis from whom we take the mantra Diksha, they are you can saw the agents of the main Guru. So main Guru remains Sri Ramakrishna. And then you remember, my Mantra Diksha Guru, he's in Japan. So I make a call and I offer my pranams to him on this day and take his blessings. So like that. So you can celebrate in various ways. So what's the deeper message? So deeper message is, you can say ultimately, it's a reminder that wisdom is transmitted through relationship. Relationship means it's a person to person relationship. A true guru, the person who is a true guru, and not the fake ones, he does not ask for worship of their personality, because they point beyond themselves to the eternal truth. That's what their purpose is, to guide you to the eternal truth about yourself, self-realization. So, as the seeker's understanding matures, as in when we make progress in our spiritual path, the outer guru awakens the recognition of the inner guru. We have an outer guru, who is a person or a tradition, and it awakens the recognition of the inner guru, which, as I always say, it's in the mind, the ever-present light of consciousness. In fact, Sri Ramakrishna said that your only guru is Satchitananda. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, Satchitananda. In, uh, uh, so that's what your true guru is, not the persons or this thing. They are just, they are there, but they ultimately lead to that. So in that sense, you can say Guru Purnima is not only a celebration of a teacher, but also a, you can say, celebration of the possibility of awakening that exists within every human being. It's there in all of us. And what it does is awakens that possibility. It's a possibility because not everyone is a spiritual seeker. I mean, all of you who are there, I must say, you have a lot of good karmas. You're the lucky ones that, you are able to hear to me. And I am also lucky that I am able to, talk to you both ways. Where you have some good, not everyone is, fortunate enough to listen to the spiritual wisdom. In fact, Vivek Chudamani, which is, one of the very important Prakarana Granthas. So it says that three things are Durlabham. Durlabh, which are difficult to find. And they come only from Daivanugraham. Daivanugraham means the grace of God. Three things. What are these three things? First, he says, first the text says it is Manushattam. Manushattam. That's the first rare blessing. And that's the only definite tick that all of us have at this moment. That being born as a human being. Even that takes, it says you have passed through so many yonis, 84 crore yonis, and then you get a human birth. And we fritter it away in doing, things which we should not be doing. So respect that you are born as a human being. Why? Because Vedanta says that among all forms of life that we see, it is only the human birth, which uniquely combines intelligence. Only human beings have intelligence, buddhi, moral responsibility. What is moral, immoral? Self-awareness. Awareness about self. The capacity to discriminate what is right, what is wrong. Asatoma, asatgamaya. Lead me from the unreal to the real. So discrimination, viveka. And also the ability to inquire into the self. Only the humans have that. So what the animals do? The animals, they seek survival and pleasure. That's what the animals, they can do. It's only the human beings who can ask, not everyone asks, who can ask that, who am I? Who am I? What is my real nature? What is the purpose of life? What is permanent? What is not permanent? What survives after death? So it's only the human beings can ask that. So that's why human life is precious. You all are born, we all are born as human beings. It is take, but do not fritter it away. It's a precious opportunity for self-realization. Second point, mumukshutva. Being human being is fine, you are born. But then comes what? Are you asking these questions, the right questions? It is said that that happens to every human being, but it, jiska time jab aata hai, whenever that time comes, you start asking. So the second rare gift is not only religious interest, but an intense yearning for liberation, moksha. That's what mokshittam is. Because, many people, in fact, most of us, many people, majority of us, what they desire wealth, they desire success, name, fame, good relationships, good health, everything. But very few, and I hope you all are in that same league, very few sincerely long to be free from ignorance, and this cycle of suffering. That's this intense desire for self-realization, to be free from the cycle of life and death. So what a mumukshu is, a person who seeks not only temporary happiness, because what we generally seek is temporary happiness. As long as you are seeking happiness, something which is external to you, then it is not in your control. It may change anytime, the very next moment. Whether it's a thing, it's it's your property, it's a relationship, anything will change. Anything can change anytime. So he is not seeking after temporary happiness, but a lasting freedom, lasting happiness, true bliss. And that is possible only through the knowledge of the self, who you truly are. So what Vedanta regards this burning aspiration, aspiration of yearning for knowing the truth, as the driving force of spiritual progress. Because there should be a drive. What should push you? So this is that, that final thing that you look for. Finally, third point, which is, which is the only point which is relevant here, that is Mahapurusha Samsraya. Mahapurush Samsraya. It is the third rare blessing, is the opportunity to come under the guidance of a Mahapurush. When we talk of Mahapurush, we mean your guru, your spiritual teacher, who is a realized soul. And these three things come, it is Daivanugraha, blessing of God. So first blessing you already have, hopefully. Second blessing also you have, and again, hopefully, third blessing of those who have a guru, spiritual guru, you also have that. So a Mahapurush is not simply a learned scholar or a charismatic leader, a charismatic person. In the Vedantic teacher, who is such a person should have, and again we'll come to that, it's very clear that he should have two Vedanta talks of, primarily talks in one of the Upanishad talks of two qualification of Kshotriya and Brahmanishta. Kshotriya is person who is well versed in the scriptures. He knows all the scriptures. And Brahmanishta is who is, actually established in the direct realization of Brahman after knowing all the scriptures. And then there are, two more additional qualifications which also appear in the Vedanta. Is Avrajina and Akamata. We'll come to that. Now, there are various mantras, which are there, which are directly given towards the gurus. They're uttered, they're chanted towards the gurus. Now, one of the popular mantras I have given here is that many of you might be knowing that Brahmanandam Param Sukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Tandatitam Gagana Shadrisham Tattamashadi Lakkam Ekang Nittam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Tirunarhitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. So if we just briefly, see what it means, Brahmanandam, bliss of Brahman, Brahma Anandam, bliss of Brahman, Param Sukhadam, who is the bestower of, the supreme happiness, Kevalam Jnanamurti. Kevalam Jnanamurti is one who is knowledge absolute. Dvandatitam, Dvanda Atitam, who is transcending the pair of opposites. He transcends, happiness, sadness, good, bad. He transcends all these things. Gagana Shadrisham, Gagan, expansive like the sky, eternal. Tattamasyadi Lakham, the goal which is indicated by, great sayings like Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, like that. Ekam Nittam Vimalamachalam, the one eternal, pure, unchanging. Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam, Sakshi, which is witness, the witness of functions of the intellect. Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. So, who is all the bhavas? Bhavas are the mental conditions and the three gunas. Three gunas are Sattva, Raja and Tamas. Who is beyond the three gunas? Salutations to that holy Guru. Sadgurum Tvam Namami. So, it's almost like God. That's what, Guru is in the Hindu traditions. Another mantra, again, one of the most widely recited Guru Stotra in Advaita Vedanta tradition, and usually it is chanted, before studying your scriptures or, listening to spiritual teachings, and basically, acknowledging the Guru as the one who reveals the all-pervading the reality about the self, about who you are. That akhanda mandalakaram vyaptang janacharacharam tatpadang darshitang yaina tasmai sri gurave namaha. So basically, salutations to that revered Guru who has revealed to me the final truth, the supreme reality, and by which the entire universe, the moving and the unmoving things, moving beings and the unmoving beings, is pervaded as, one indivisible whole. And then, of course, we have the Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. So here the Guru is equated with Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwar. That's the Guru ka sthan jo hai. So it's so high. in the Hindu tradition, all emanating from the Vedas and Vedanta, and which compiled by, not authored by, Vedas are not written. So they are compiled by Vedavyas, on whose birthday we celebrate the Guru Purnima. Next. Now, the fundamental questions in spirituality, the right questions are, what are these questions? We all know that. I just mentioned, who am I? What is consciousness? आपने बोल तो दिया that you are conscious, but what is consciousness? Is there a reality, what happens after your death? Is there a reality beyond life and death? So these are the questions which our Upanishads deal with. And they form the, you can say, the philosophical foundation of Vedanta. And at the heart of every one of these ancient conversations stood a remarkable relationship of Guru-Shishya Parampara. If you look into the Upanishads, most of them are in the form of a dialogue between, some places they are named, some places they are not named. Like we all know about the famous conversation between Yamraj and Nachiketa, Katha Upanishad. And then if you see Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Yagyavalkya and Maitreyi, Yagyavalkya and King Janaka. So these are the some of the Guru Shishya conversations, and through which the Shishya asks questions. We know about the questions about what Nachiketa asks. The young boy Nachiketa, he asks Yamraj, what happens after death? So the teachings are through this conversation between Guru and Shishya. And one of the most beautiful moments in Upanishad, they occur when a spiritual, the student is also spiritual. They are not ordinary students. Nachiketa was not ordinary. So a student approaches a teacher, who is the Guru, and he approaches not with arrogance, but with absolute humility and intense longing to know the truth, mumukshutta. So the student does not ask that, how can I become famous? How can I earn more money? How can I get more success in my office or in relationship? He does not ask these questions. You will not find these questions in Upanishad. Instead, what he asks, that in one line, if you say, what is that knowing which everything else become known? That one thing, if you know that, everything else will become known. Think about it. The question is one of the Upanishads. So it's maybe one of the most extraordinary questions ever asked. Knowing one thing and you know everything. We are not talking of knowledge about physics, mathematics, chemistry, geography, nothing. So rather than collecting, 1,000 separate pieces of knowledge about worldly things, what the seeker wants is one truth underlying them all. There is only one truth. And Vedanta teaches that such a question arises only when after a person has experienced enough. Person has experienced enough of life to realize, and what he realizes that pleasure, wealth, power, achievement, they are all temporary. They are valuable in their own place. It's not that they are not valuable, you shouldn't have that, but they cannot satisfy the deepest longing of the human heart. They cannot answer that question, who am I? In fact, this deep yearning is called the mumukshutva, the burning desire for liberation, seeking the truth. And when this longing awakens, life begins to change. Life begins to change, and it's a noticeable change. So it's like, but it's as it in Advaita Vedanta, they say that it is self-realization. It's not something which you discover, which was not there, and then it is you realize that it's already there. It's a very nice story. So imagine someone is searching for a necklace. He could not find it. He going around searching for it in the entire house. He opens every drawer, every cupboard. He searches every nook and corner of every room. But hours later, he comes and sits in a chair, and fortunately, there is a mirror in front of the chair, and he sees that the necklace is hanging in his or her neck, and it's been there all the time. So he was searching, but he gained nothing new. Only the ignorance has disappeared. Only the ignorance about where the necklace was, it has disappeared. So Vedanta says that enlightenment is remarkably similar. If you have understood this story, you have understood it. The self was never absent. It's always there. It's only unnoticed. If you remember what I told in the beginning, it's only that layer of dust is there, and what Vedanta does, it removes the layer of dust. So now you can say that, you can ask, in fact, that if it is already existing within me, then why is it so difficult to recognize? Why is it so difficult? The answer is not that the truth is hidden. The answer is that our attention is scattered. Our mind is clouded. Our mind is attracted to the external world. And our identity, our true identity, you can say, is entangled in everything which we are not. We say, I am so and so, I am an engineer, I am a chartered accountant, I can do this, I can do that. So that becomes our identity. But Vedanta is not looking for that identity. That's an external identity. If biodata which you send, if you are searching for a job, but that's not the identity Vedanta is looking for. It is looking for your identity within. So the guru in Vedantic vision is not someone who gives you a new self. He does not give you a new identity, but he helps you discover that self which was never absent, which was always there. So he helps you discover that. So you can ask, I can do it myself. I can read the scriptures, do it myself. Do you really need a guru for that? How can we distinguish between a spiritual master from a charismatic leader? Both the categories are floating around in the market. So this is where the Upanishads, whereas as I mentioned, I use the word Vedanta throws a gentle challenge. It's a gentle challenge. It's not mandatory. You can very well do without it. Only thing is that it may take longer or it may not happen at all. There is every possibility that you get distracted to a different path. So what the Upanishads do, that the Mundaka Upanishad, it gives two qualifications of a right spiritual guru. We come to our next question: how to find the right spiritual guru. So I briefly mentioned before that. First is Kshotriya. He should be Kshotriya. Kshotriya is who is a Kshotriya? So he is one who has thoroughly studied the Vedas and the Upanishads. He's a master of the script. Secondly, also he belongs to an authentic teaching tradition, sampradaya. Because a person does not live forever, but a tradition lives. So if it is the right tradition, so it is kept alive by the swamis, by the saints, or the propagands of that tradition. Like in Sri Ramakrishna order, the guru, if you would say that Sri Ramakrishna was the guru, but after that Swami Vivekananda established the Ramakrishna order, where he laid down a detailed method, how and who should give the initiation and how the message of Sri Ramakrishna should be spread. So that's a tradition. So he should belong to an authentic teaching tradition. And also he should understand the scriptures correctly. There could be different interpretations of the scriptures. If in fact, if you read the Brahma Sutras, they are very cryptic. They're not easily understandable. So a guru is one who has been able to interpret the scriptures correctly. And finally, he can communicate the subtle truths. Communicate the teachings in the scriptures according to the traditional methodology. Because in every tradition, there is a method of passing the knowledge, passing this thing. So it is done as per that. So a Kshotriya is not merely a scholar with intellectual knowledge. Many people have such knowledge, intellectual knowledge. They're very, masters in Vedas, Vedanta. You ask them anything and they will say. But someone who is trained in proper, unfolding of the Vedantic teaching, who can transmit that teaching correctly in the same tradition. Second quality, Brahmanishta. Again, very important. So what is Brahmanishta? Brahmanishtavid. So he is a person who is firmly established in the direct realization of Brahman. Firmly established with Nishtha. He is established in the realization of Brahman. He has transcended all ego. He has transcended all attachments. He is you can say, symbol of peace, embodiment of peace. That's how your guru should look like. Just by seeing him, you can feel the inner radiance, the peace which is there within him. Then only, he can transmit the same thing to you. So such a teacher's life itself becomes evidence of spiritual realization. So it is said that even if you read the lives of Sri Ramakrishna, Sharodama, and Swami Vivekananda, you are on the path of self-realization just by reading their life. They itself are a guide to the spiritual seeker. The way they lived their life, you will find everything. So that is Brahmanishta. So, because a guru may qualify the first, as I said, a person who is teaching, let's say, philosophy or teaching religion in any university or any place, he can qualify the first thing. He knows all the Vedas, all the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, everything by heart. But is he leading a spiritual life? That becomes different. There is a word, he should walk the talk. So it's that. So is he leading a life as per the scriptures? Is he practicing what he preaches? It's not a part-time job. Being guru is not a part-time job. It's living your entire life as per that. So Sri Shankaracharya comments that Kshotriya ensures that Guru teaches without error. First, we have to understand the scriptures in the right spirit, and then Brahmanishta ensures that Guru speaks. When he speaks from direct knowledge, direct realization. Because someone who is living that life, he can teach that from the core of his heart. It does not remain theoretical. So these are the two things which directly the Upanishad said. Then there are two other things which are also mentioned in the scriptures. In fact, these are the two things which Swami Vivekananda also emphasized. Avarigin. The Sanskrit meaning is is without. Vrijin is crookedness, sin, moral defect, deceit. So avarigin means a person who is free from sin. He is morally upright, he is honest, and he doesn't cheat anybody. Impeccable character, you can say. And because a guru may possess vast knowledge, but his or her character may be compromised by dishonesty, exploitation, unethical conduct. Vedanta does not regard such person as an ideal teacher, right? So, in fact, when we come in the last part, fake gurus, you will find shades of these things which are very much predominant in those persons. Akamahata. So, again is not kama. Kama is desire. Hata is which is struck, wounded, overpowered. So akamata literally means person who is not struck by desires. Who is not struck by desires. In other words, who is not attracted by desires. He is unaffected by selfish desires. In fact, it is said that the only desire that is allowed in Vedanta is the desire for self-realization, which is the intense desire, mumukshuttam. In fact, Sri Ramakrishna used to mention that, he mentioned about various qualifications that you must have, but he said that only one is good enough if we have Vyakulata. And this is exactly as Vyakulata is all about, this mumukshuttam. Intense desire, intense yearning for self-realization. So, and Akamata, he's not, he is not driven by wealth. He is not driven by fame, power, sense pleasures. So he's not driven by that. he has in fact, transcended all these personal cravings. He has transcended all that. So that's these are the qualifications. But this does not mean that Guru cannot own anything. He does not own anything. He lives in absolute poverty. But what it means that he has transcended all those things. That means he is not enslaved by those desires. He is not driven by those desires. His decisions are not driven by those desires. They are there. I mean, let them be there. Because the only problem arises is after a desire. Let's say you're having ice cream for the first time in your life. You don't know what an ice cream is. So it looks good. So you have that ice cream and then you like it. And then you develop an attachment towards it. So that's how the cycle begins. That's the sensory pleasure you get out of having that ice cream. So Guru might be having that ice cream, but he never develops any attachment to it. He's there, finish, chapter close. And in our case, the chapter begins. The volumes begin, one volume after the other. So that begins. So that's so these are the basically the qualities that you should look for in a true guru. Four qualities. Two are directly mentioned in the Mundaka Upanishad, and two are also mentioned in the scriptures somewhere. So now a little bit about the fake gurus and who are doing rounds in India, and you have to be very careful about them. And if you see these, I have just mentioned about this poster, like in the first page, there's a posters of the there was a poster about the realized gurus, and this is someone who are spiritual gurus, but they are not real. They won't lead you to self-realization. So in fact, so much so that the Akhil Bharatiya Akhada Parishad, there's an organization, is apex body of Hindu sadhus, and they published a list of 14. This is the list. I will not go through in detail. List of what they call as the fake saints, and some names you might have heard like Asaram Bapu or Ram Rahim, or I have heard of Nirmal Baba also. So all these are there, but they are not ordinary people. They have that, they qualify that they have the spiritual knowledge, but they fell prey to that third category, leading a moral life. But they still command a huge following. Asaram Bapu, I was just looking into the internet. Asaram Bapu, even he's 85 years old and he's presently in jail. You all know, because of some rape charge and all. So he has about 60 million followers. 60 million followers. And I have seen, if you go by the Ridge Road towards Karol Bagh, on the left-hand side is his ashram. And on some day, maybe his birthday or some day, and there is a huge traffic jam, and the devotees come and they pray for him or something. So still they have huge followings, because even our political leaders, because most of these these self-styled godmen, so they have these political leaders, political patronage. And Asaram Bapu was visited by none other than, again, I was quite shocked. I mean, when I saw this list in the internet, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, L.K. Advani, Narendra Modi, Digvijay Singh, Farooq Abdullah, I mean, so many of them. And they take advantage of it. In fact, you all might have heard in newspapers that Ram Rahim, who was again, who has his ashram in, I think, in Sirsa in Haryana, and he also has about 70 million followers. 70 million followers. And he has been out on bail for more duration than he was in jail. Just imagine. He was sentenced to imprisonment. He was supposed to be in jail, but he has been out on bail maybe, I think, I don't know, 30 or 40 times. So he spends more time outside jail than inside jail, all because of political patronage. And why political patronage? These politicians, they do take the help of these godmen to get votes. That's their only this thing. But why do these people, these so-called followers are still there when their guru is in jail? Because, these are the plausible reasons. I mean, there could be anything, something more also. Because, many followers believe that, they have personally benefited from his teachings. Of course, I mean, it's not that was because he could not control his desires. Akama, he was not there. He was felled by his desires, unethical, immoral desires. But then he also must have done some good spiritual teachings also. So many followers believe that, they have personally benefited from his teachings, from his meditation. They do many charitable work. And I think Ram Rahim runs a hospital also. So for them, these experiences they are so deeply entrenched into them uh, that they are not affected by, chahe jail jaye, chahe jahan pe bhi jaye, so I will remain his bhakt. So that's how you can call them a blind follower. So you have to be very careful about, whom you are taking as a guru, because these persons, they have some spiritual powers, and it is said that any person who has some spiritual power, they attract people. People are attracted towards them, and then they take advantage of that. So rather than just being a charismatic person, yes, he looks good or he talks good, so you should not be attracted towards that. You go to the that's the first part. He's very well versed in the Vedas. He's all the chants, all the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita fluently. So all those is there. That's the first part, Brahmanistha. So Brahmanistha, and of course the Avrijana and Akamata. So whether he's following the other three also, is he leading a spiritual life? Is he walking the talk? Is he, moving around in luxury, and he's seeking money from his followers like that? So you have to be careful. So these are, some little bit about spiritual gurus and Guru Purnima, and what you should look for in a spiritual guru, because this is one connection that lasts a lifetime. It's not that you change guru every time. If you make a right choice, yes, if you have not made the right choice, then you can always shift over and find the right guru, but you must be very careful. You must give all the yardsticks. They should pass this filter, pass this test of all these four qualities, the right spiritual guru. Thank you so much. I'll end with the prayer. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mriturma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness unto light, lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. So all these things, what are these three prayers that a guru can handhold you and lead you towards that? Yeah, thank you so much.
হ্যালো।
Yeah, who is that?
কেমন আছেন?
Oh, Shakuntala. Yes. Shakuntala.
গুড মর্নিং।
Good morning, good morning.
হ্যাঁ, আমি অনেকদিন পরে জয়েন করলাম। আসলে
Ah,
টপিকসটা এতটাই ভালো। আর আজকে একটু সময়ও পেয়েছি, অনেক ভোরে উঠেছি বলে। তো
ah,
উম, সেই জন্য আমার এটা জানা ছিল না যে ব্যাসদেবের জন্মদিনের দিন
ah,
গুরু পূর্ণিমা পালিত
yes,
হয়।
yes, yes.
এটা একটা নতুন জিনিস জানলাম। আর মানে অনেক কিছুই জানলাম আর কি গুরু পূর্ণিমা সম্পর্কে। একটাই শুধু জানতাম যে যারা দীক্ষা নিয়েছে গুরু পূর্ণিমার দিন তারা গুরু প্রণাম করে, বা আমরা যারা রামকৃষ্ণ মিশনে আশ্রিত তারা এখন যিনি বর্তমান গুরু আছেন স্বামী গৌতমানন্দজি মহারাজ, বা যে মঠে যে অধ্যক্ষ মহারাজ থাকেন তাকে প্রণাম করলে দর্শন করলে আমাদের ভালো লাগে আর কি,
হুম,
কিছুটা পুণ্য সঞ্চয় হয়।
ঠিক।
তো সেইটাই আমরা এতদিন জেনে এসেছি। কিন্তু আমার একটা প্রশ্ন অমিতাভদা, যেটা হচ্ছে যারা ধরুন দীক্ষা নেয়নি আর কি,
হ্যাঁ,
তারা কিভাবে, তারা রামকৃষ্ণ দেবকে অতটা বেশি জানেন না, বা তাদের
হ্যাঁ,
কারুর কারুর হয়তো রাম ঠাকুরের ফ্যামিলিতে সবাই রাম ঠাকুরের দীক্ষিত, কিন্তু কোনো দীক্ষা নিয়ে উঠতে পারছে না, বা
হ্যাঁ,
কেউ শ্রী শ্রী অনুকূল ঠাকুরের
হুম, হুম, হুম।
কারু ফ্যামিলিতে দীক্ষিত, মানে তারা পাজেলড আর কি, মানে কোথায় দীক্ষা নেবে।
আচ্ছা, ঠিক আছে,
তো
ঠিক আছে।
এক
বুঝতে
ছোট
পেরেছি।
বয়সে হচ্ছে দীক্ষা হয়ে গেছে, কিন্তু সেটা এখন মনোপুত হচ্ছে না, রামকৃষ্ণ মিশনে দীক্ষা নিতে চায় আর কি।
হুম।
তো তারা কি করবে গুরু পূর্ণিমার দিন?
So basically, I'll just translate it to some for all those for the benefit of all those she mentioned about Guru Purnima, about what we do on Guru Purnima day. We offer our pranams, and also, but then our question is that what those people should do, who have not taken Diksha, what they should do. So basically, two things. Either they fall into the category of the those who are enjoying life, the secular life. They don't need, uh, they don't feel the need for any this spiritual journey, which all of you have undertaken. They don't feel the need for it so far. They have not come to the question of who am I. For them, who am I is I am Amitabha Bose. I live in Dwarka. I wear specs and I am a Bengali. I am a Hindu. So to them, as long as it is that, so then, for them, they'll talk about, yes, guru is there, spiritual guru is there. So that's a different category. But then there is a second category who realize that, yes, these questions are relevant questions. Who am I? It is beyond your biological, your identity, which is to the external world. I have to know that who am I, who I really am. So for that, but I do not have a guru. But as I said that it is not necessary. It is not at all necessary to have a spiritual guru if you look at it. But
আচ্ছা,
it is just like your, the GPS system. Let us say, in fact, this is taken from Sadhguru. He talks about GPS system. What these days GPS does, if you go into the car, you have to go someplace. We just put the map address on. The map comes. This is the shortest path, and that you can reach that place. So exactly GPS it is the, you can say, the guru positioning system. You have the destination, which is self-realization. It is the guru which shows you the shortest path, the right path to your destination. Otherwise, what you do, the address. अब इधर से जाना है, उधर से जाना है. You don't know from which way to go, and maybe you go to a wrong road. You may never reach your destination. It's quite possible. But if you have the GPS, yes, the map comes. This is your starting point. This is your destination. That's exactly the Guru does. He guides you on the right path. And when I'm telling you the right path, it is the path which is shown by our scriptures, the Vedanta. So having faith in the Vedanta, having faith in the Guru, so he guides you to your destination. And for all of us, there is only one destination. This is, as Sri Ramakrishna said, the purpose of everyone's life is the realization of God realization or self-realization. That is single pointed destination. In GPS, you may have different destination. I want to go to Karol Bagh or I want to go to Chandni Chowk. It might different destination. But here in the Guru positioning system, you have only one destination, and a Guru means a qualified Guru. When I'm talking of Guru, I mean a qualified Guru. We have just talked about it, or a tradition. A Guru or a tradition which is following the paths of the Guru, he takes you, he guides you to that destination. So that is the purpose of having the Guru. Otherwise also, I may reach Chandni Chowk. I may reach Chandni Chowk. But the question is, I may. And I may not follow the correct path. It may be fraught with difficulties. And I may go towards Rohtak rather than going to Chandni Chowk. There is a possibility. Our everyone's life, we have a short life. We do not know whether tomorrow will come or not. So within this short lifespan, so you to get the maximum out of it, so that's why you need a Guru. Otherwise, go to the next life and next life and next life. So that's the significance of having a Guru. Yeah.
ওকে, থ্যাংক ইউ।
Yeah, yeah.
অনেকটা
Yeah.
জানতে পারলাম।
Thank you.
আমি
Shobhantala.
প্লিজ আমি একটু ইয়ে করছি, আমি
Sure.
হয়ে
No
যাচ্ছি,
problem.
চলে যাচ্ছি।
Yes.
ঠিক আছে, থ্যাংক
Okay.
ইউ।
Yeah, Lata ji.
गुरु पूर्णिमा के संदर्भ में आपको हमारा पूरा प्रणाम। It
No.
had to be
I
on
do
that
not
day.
consider myself a guru. I'm just a seeker,
I
just
think
like
Guru
one
should
of you.
not think. Yeah, Guru should
One
not
of
think
you.
he's the Guru. The disciple has to think he's the Guru for us. So anyway, thank you for that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to share two informations.
Yes.
हमारे community का we have two ashrams. One at this thing based on Ved Vyas ji. One at Kalpi, Uttar Pradesh.
Okay.
Kalpi Nagar it is called. Near Kanpur.
Okay.
And it is Bal Ved Vyas ashram hai, mandir or ashram hai. So anyone who wants to visit, have a blissful life there, days for some days, you can just tell us. We can arrange for the staying and the food also.
Okay.
There, it is staying is also there, and the beauty is there are a lot of Muslims and Hindus around who
Yes.
visit this place and try to take some learnings from there, from the people we have appointed. And another Vedavyas ashram we have at Haridwar, which is a huge ashram. It's a beautiful ashram. You should visit this place.
Okay.
It's Vedavyas जी का पूरा बहुत सुंदर ये मंदिर है, गंगा के तट पे है, next to Birla Ghat it is almost. So
Okay.
it's a beautiful, that. And another one or two things. For me, Vidya Dan is the best Dan. So Guruji is very important. And for me, quote has been average teacher. I think last time also I mentioned this. Average teacher reads out the textbook. A good teacher explains that. And a great teacher inspires the student.
Yes.
I think that's the best teacher. So
Yes.
you have been the third one. Thank you for that. I wanted to
Very
say
nice. I
that.
feel
Try to
blessed.
the
I feel
extra time.
blessed.
Yeah.
I feel blessed.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah. So anybody else want to say something? Oh, Ulas, you are still there. Late night. in the
Yes,
US.
Dada.
Or are you in India?
No. I'm still here in the US, but
Okay.
very. I mean, I enjoyed listening to you. Thanks for that.
Yeah. Thanks for being there.
Very
and
inspiring.
waking up-
I agree.
waking
I
up such
second
late
that.
nights.
You're
Yeah.
You were very inspiring.
Thank you so much. I feel blessed. Yeah. So good then. I think Seems that's about all. If there are no comments, or are there any comments? Oh, sorry, I forget to look at the chat. So yes. Koili Das, Koili ji, I mean, she was my, are you still there? No, maybe not. So she was my teacher in my TTC, teachers in yoga teachers training. She was my teacher. I feel blessed that she's also there. She was also there. Ullas, thank you, Dada. Enjoyed the session. Thank you so much. Lataji, thank you. Satinder Singh, my colleague in LLB, very enlightening. We knew all this, but it was beautifully synchronized. Yes, I mean, it's nothing new. In fact, all the mantras you all must be knowing. In Bonoja saying enlightening, thank you. Thank you so much for being there. And so I think that's about all. I think we call it a day. Stay blessed. Remember your Guru, not only on the Guru Purnima day, but all the time. And ultimately remember, your Satchidananda is your ultimate Guru. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dada. Take care. Bye.
Bye.